Welcome everyone. Today we have another new episode, and our session is with some brilliant minds, those who already introduced themselves with World Talent Economy Forums, but today they come up with a different idea of women empowerment. This is very important, especially in the COVID situation, how women playing their roles everywhere in the business, office, hospital, as a nurse, uh, as a life partner everywhere, women playing very good roles. So today we're going to discuss about the women empowerments, how they can contribute for our human developments and other things. And we have many experts from different country. We have Dr. Sharita Sharma. I think already she is everyone actually very famous in World Talent Economy Forums, because every time I have to invite you again and again because of the huge demand of audience. Many countries people, they ask me about Dr. Sharita Sharma, about Dr. Shobha Sharma, about Brenda, even Chioma, and all of you are very, very popular in World Talent Economy Forums, and people love you. Really, people like you, how you helping our community, how we growing together. This is very important. So, Dr. Sharita Sharma, I want to start from you. I think some of them has some internet issues. Those who join, I will add everyone.
Yes, Mr. Sharif.
Yes, Dr. Sharita Sharma, can you please introduce your uh, present situation in India, as well as if you just introduce some point about women empowerment.
Yes, Mr. Sharif. As I have always been saying, it's always a pleasure to be on your show. I think this is my fifth time around, and it is almost like talking to a family person at WTEF. Uh, yes, the COVID situation was pretty bad in India at one point in time. We had very strict lockdown, and there were so many issues coming up because of that. But yes, we are easing lockdown now. We are moving into the unlocked procedure. And almost everything apart from educational institutes are open now. Businesses are running as usual, and life has almost become normal. I say almost because, of course, it cannot be as normal as it used to be. Festival time is around the corner, as the Hindu will celebrate Durga Puja for 9-10 days, starting from 21st of October. So there is a festival spirit in the air as well. And yes, regarding women empowerment, uh, yes, we will talk as we proceed in the discussion. Let the others also talk about their situation in their own countries, and then we'll talk about it. Thank you, Mr.
Yes,
Sharif.
thank you, thank you. Chioma, can you please introduce your women empowerment situation in Nigeria? I know you have a very interesting story, but beside that, we want to know more about your communities and about your Nigeria, even African cultures and other things.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sharif. Thank you for having me again. I think this is my third time on your show. Um, the state of women empowerment in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole, I would say is not very encouraging. Yeah. Why? Because we still have a lot of societal conditioning. There's a lot of conditioning and telling women and not allowing women to be as empowered as they would want to be. Empowerment in the sense of financial empowerment, mental empowerment, building capacity, and being financially independent. There is always a bar. There's always a bar being placed. When even a woman tries to move herself beyond the societal conditionings, placing those bars at you. You see even close family members, friends trying to remind you, hey, remember you are a woman, you shouldn't be more successful than your husband. You are a girl child and all that. So women are not as empowered as they should be. And when I talk about empowerment, I talk about not just the financial empowerment, because financial empowerment is just on the periphery. I'm talking about mental empowerment, knowing how much they have within them and what they can give. So the state of women empowerment in Nigeria, and I can tell you in sub-Saharan Africa, is not at its best. We can do better. And as we progress in the discussion, I will also expose how we can improve on both empowering women mentally, their capacity building, and also financially, which is also very important to sustain good homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Shobha Sharma, can you please introduce actually present situation in South Asia? Because we want to know more about not only in India, if you can share some of your experience about other countries as well, especially women empowerments. The COVID situation is now oats and oats, but in that situation we have to play very important roles for economical sustainability. According to IMF report, there are many challenges right now, many challenges actually, even in South Asian culture countries, and there are many issues right now. So in that situation, how women should play their roles, how women should engage for economic sustainability. Can you please unmute yourself? Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sharif, for having me here again. Well, regarding empowerment in Southeast Asia, you were saying. So, first of all, why empower women? What is the need? What is the necessity? Well, um, for a woman's sense of self worth, for their right to have and to determine choices, we need to empower women. Okay, their right to know that they have an access to opportunities and resources, their right to have the power to control their own lives, we need empowerment. Okay, now regarding Southeast Asia, what I feel like in the COVID situation, well, so much has been said. um, we in the Southeast Asian countries, I think we are bound by tradition and religion, and in the name of this tradition, religion, culture, women are being in a way sidelined, in a way marginalized. Okay, our culture says this, our tradition says that, so we are so much into this. Okay, so much seeped in this tradition that sometimes it proves a kind of an hindrance, an obstacle. Okay, it doesn't allow the woman to march forward, it holds us back. So the condition of women and the concept of to empower women, I feel more than in the developed countries, we need it more in the developing countries, and especially in Southeast Asia. The concept of empowerment hasn't yet gone to the grassroots level. It is simply, we are just talking about it, and just in the urban areas, yes, it is being practiced to some extent, but well, not all, and we have yet, yes, miles to go and miles to go. So, yes, to begin with, this much only I'll say, then we'll
Mhm,
proceed.
mhm. Thank you. Thank you. I want to ask Brenda. Can you hear me? Brenda, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
Yes, I can
Like,
hear
can
you.
you? Yes. Can you please introduce yourself as well as the present situation of women in South Africa? Hello, Brenda. Can you hear me? Okay, as I think she has internet issues, I directly want to go to Dr. Sharita Sharma. Like, if you add something in present situation in COVID period, because we are trying to do some research, like what will happen next 2 to 3 years, because the next 2 to 3 years is very important for economical sustainability and this kind of things. Even India has billions of people, okay, 1.3 billion people, more than that in India. So actually, what should be the role of women, and how government and policymakers should support them in this period, especially in the COVID period, where we are observing the GDP growth and other things not happening properly. It's mean big corporations and other things is in trouble. So in these situations, how we can think about the micro concept, how we think about the micro initiative.
I think there is a lot that the government, the NGOs, and the private sectors can do in this regard. There is a lot in the name of women empowerment. First of all, I think what the NGOs and private bodies can do is that they can help in empowering women by uh, the opening up sources for the women to come and join them. In many sectors, it so happens that they are not willing to employ women because of so many reasons. Maybe because of the responsibilities that a woman has when it comes to her home. She's not as free as the men to go out and work. So private sectors or NGOs or even government organizations to some extent are not willing to employ women, maybe because they carry so much of baggage in the name of home and hearth. So I think that conditioning, that mentality has to be changed first of all if we are to empower women. Uh, we need to change the mental conditioning. Empowerment should start in the mind first of all.
Mhm.
The day a girl is born is a day when the parents should take it upon themselves, when the society should take it upon itself to change her mentality or the conditions that the others will force her into abiding by. They should make her mentally strong, mentally empowered. They should make her understand the concept of education. I was
Mhm.
reading somewhere that in South Africa, there is an initiative where girl children from disadvantaged families are taken to workplaces once in a year so that they can see the conditions there. They can see what education can give you. So when you see that, you have to attract women for towards education. You have to make it lucrative for them. The especially the disadvantaged rural child, someone who lives in a society where education is not given any importance. If she comes out in the open, if she goes to private sectors or NGOs and government agencies, and she sees what an educated and empowered woman can have. Now, as a career, then maybe also will be she will be inspired to take up education. First of all, she will be inspired to finish her education. So empowerment has to begin in the mind, as I said. And yes, government agencies can do a lot. There is so much of capacity in the urban areas amongst women. I see so many talented women who weave, women who paint, women who you teach to embroider. So there is so much that these women have in them. Only if it could come out in the open, only if it could have a market out there, someone out there who is channelizing the resource, someone out there who is making it easy for them to go out there and showcase their talents or sell what they have made. So I think there is a lot of capacity in this regards. The government has a lot to do. The NGOs have a lot to do. We need to go out there in the field. We just don't sit in our living rooms and talk about this and that. I think we need to go into the fields and see what is the problem that they face. Some women are facing the hardships of having water in the homes early in the morning. They have to walk for miles in order to get water, drinking water, or even water to feed the cook food with or bathe. So that's the kind of problem they have. So empowerment is different for different people. So we have to go into the field and see what kind of empowerment these women need. So there's a lot of work to be done. There's so much the government needs to do. NGO bodies or private organizations can do. Not enough is being done.
Mhm. Excellent. Madam Brenda, can you hear me? Yes, can you please unmute yourself?
Um,
Yes,
I can hear you
excellent.
now.
Yeah,
Apologies, my
yes,
connection is not
no problem, no
very
problem. You
stable.
can introduce
But
introduce
just to your
yourself. Yes. Mhm.
yes, just to your question earlier on. So my name is Brenda. I'm the VP at TEF's I work together with all these wonderful ladies. But as far as women empowerment is concerned, as I mentioned before, in South Africa, is we've got laws that govern women empowerment. We've got processes that are there to support women empowerment. The problem that I'm seeing is that this is all done in pockets. You find that women are more empowered in urban areas than they are in rural areas. So when you move down to the villages, when you move down to the townships, they are not as empowered, or or the empowerment is not well understood. People think that, when they've given you a job or when they've given you a position, that's empowerment. Whereas empowerment, I don't see it as a product. It is a process. It is a process that, as Sarita has said, it starts with the mind. Is you understanding, if you get a position, what does it mean? What is the mandate? Do you understand that mandate? Are you given the power to really exercise that mandate? If you are given an opportunity, do you have the support system around you to be able to ensure that that opportunity is beneficial to you? So there's so much that needs to go with empowerment. It's not just a law that can be written. There's so much that is required that needs to go with empowerment. It's not just a law that can be written. Those laws needs to be enforced, and we can enforce that by making sure that our processes, our support systems on
Mhm. Yes. Orpita, can you hear me?
the ground
Okay. Okay.
also talks to those policies, so that if they or we go, where it's happening very well, in areas where it's not really happening very well.
Yes. Sorry. I need to. I need to move
Dr. Sarita,
forward.
yes, I can take to make sure that what women empowerment is, what power a long way in ensuring that we.
Mhm. I think, Brenda, I think there is some internet issue. That's why we cannot hear you clearly. So I directly want to go to Dr. Shobha Sharma. Yes. Can you please identify some of the issue? Let's say Ushna Kachi come up with a very beautiful question. His question is that what are the factors affecting women empowerment? When can we say a woman is empowered? Are the internal or external factor affecting women empowerment? I think this is very good questions. I directly want to ask it to Dr. Shobha Sharma.
That's a very, very pertinent question by Mr. Osinakachi. Well, the various factors that affect environment are, it's simple, yeah. Social factors are there, educational factors are there, economic, political, psychological factors are there. Now, all of these factors, they pose as an obstacle towards the empowerment. And especially, when we were colonies under the Britishers once upon a time, and that also in a way, it hindered in its own way, because what happened, in after the end of World War II, the demise of European colonialism, it happened, okay, in most of the countries. Okay, the colonialism ended, we entered into the post-colonial era. So theoretically, the few the whatever was there of the original of the Indian, for example, from the Indian context, let me say the pre-colonial India, okay, and the post-colonial India. we find a vast difference, and we don't see that there has been very many instances of the women being empowered just because of the Western influence. Okay, why I'm saying this, as I said, is the social political the factors that I gave. And as Gayatri Spivak Chaudhary, as she has said in her seminal essay, "Can the Subaltern Speak?" where she has mentioned about the white men saving the brown women from the brown men. So the Western colonizers, when they came and colonized, they took it as if it was their priority. Okay, it was unto them, it was the white man's burden to civilize us by taking away certain things. Like, for example, Gayatri Spivak Chaudhary talks about the sati system. Sati is, I don't know whether all of you know or not, the once the husband dies, the wife was supposed to go, and burn herself in the funeral pyre along with the husband. So that was stopped by the Westerners. But Gayatri Spivak Chaudhary, she raises this question: were the women asked? The women were never asked when this rule was made that the woman has to die along with the husband. The women were never asked when this was stopped. Okay, so rules were made, rules were framed by the men, rules were broken by the men for the women, and the subaltern cannot speak. They cannot, others speak for them. So when others speak, is it the subaltern speaking? Are they really addressing their problems? So hence, when we talk of empowerment, unless and until a woman gets to speak, until and unless a woman gets a platform to portray herself, then it is not going to be empowerment at all. Always the men pulling the women, speaking for them, making laws for them, making rules for them for their empowerment. Well, that is no empowerment at all. So we are still in that marginalized position that we were. All right. And even though the colonizers, they were men. Okay, so that is it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you. We have our new guest, Arundhati Sharma and Shakila. Arundhati from India and Shakila from Bangladesh. Can you please introduce yourself? And we are middle of the our discussions. We are discussing on the factors that affecting women empowerments. And actually, there are huge response from Malaysia, from Asia Pacific, around the world. Audience has huge question on women empowerments. So, Arundhati, can you please introduce yourself? And Orpita Sneha, she is also new joining with us. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Arundhati Sharma and I'm from India. I am from Patna, Bihar, and I'm a research scholar in Patna University. And I'm also teaching as an assistant professor in Amity University, and I teach English literature to undergraduate students here in Bihar. So that is it about me.
Mhm. Yes, Orpita, can you please introduce yourself? Okay, I think Shakila, can you please introduce yourself with our,
Hello,
yes.
yeah, hello everyone. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. I I was just listening to the wonderful ladies, so it's absolutely an honor for me. Well, I'm Shakila from Bangladesh. What would I say? I have been graduated in engineering and then I did my MBA. Well, it's all about women empowerment, right? My schooling and college, it was all about women, women centric institute. I was a part of YWCA. I was a part of Holy Cross. So I was always girls oriented institution. So yeah, it's absolutely a pleasure for me to be here to represent myself as being a woman from developing countries like Bangladesh. It's a wonderful global podium, I would say. Thank you so much, Sharif Bhai.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. Orpita, can you hear me? Okay, there are actually many questions from audience. I want to take questions first. I think she is also one of the research scholar from Malaysia, Lim Kok Wing University, Nur Haniza Al. I think she has some different issues. Her question is, how are we going to piloting a model for next generation leadership in South Asia and East Africa, and amplifying the voice of youth women leaders working across our core thematic area. So I want to start these things from Dr. Sharita, and if you extended these things with Dr. Sharita, like anybody can join, but Dr. Sharita, you can start first. Yes,
Okay, so the question is about how can we bring about a new
exactly.
generation of leaders,
Mhm.
women
And
leaders.
yes, and she want to know the different
Okay,
context about South Asia, about Africa, and yeah.
women still have to, get into politics. We have very less women representation in politics when it comes to the entire South Asian area. So I think we need some more women out there. We need to first of all, as I spoke earlier in while discussing, first we have to change the mindset. We have to bring them to the schools. First, we have to bring them to the schools. We have to empower them enough in the mind to complete their studies and then take up a job and not just think about getting married and settle down. Women have to come out of their homes and take risks. But where and when does it happen? Only if we empower them the day they are born. So leaders have to be trained. Leaders have to be made. There is you if in your own home or in your own society you are discriminated against, you are not given your entire rights, then you cannot even imagine of being a leader. So everything has to start at home. That's what I very firmly believe in. So I think we have to make women representative more out there. We have to bring in more women into politics because we have seen in the entire world context that women have more empathy, they have more understanding, they have the greater communication skills, and I firmly believe that if more and more women come into politics, if there is more women representation, then we may not have so many problems that we are having globally. So bring them out, bring them out. The only problem that we have is that we are not doing enough for them. We are not empowering them enough. We are not giving them a safe haven. We are not giving them safe streets to walk at night. We are not giving them safe areas to work in. We are not giving them safe offices to work in. We are all the time, trying to dominate and discriminate, and then keep them behind that curtain, that parda, that symbolic parda, as I say. So let's not do that. We need to bring them out. I mean, apart from this, I don't really see what else can be done in this area. And men have to work in this area as much as women have to be. They have to be more forthcoming. They have to be more uh, wholesome in their approach towards working alongside women. They should not feel daunted or dominated by the women's colleague or the women's boss. They should not feel that okay, that was crazy. She has come here to dominate me. That should not be how he sees a woman boss or a colleague. So he should see her at par and not always try to judge her as someone who is different from him or someone who has just come from scraps. So if anyone else would like to add to that, I would be very happy to
Yeah.
hear as well.
Yeah, I would like to add one point here, and I think what should be done is it should begin in the house itself. Um, a man who has been brought up by an independent woman, a son who has been brought up by a mother whom he sees in the house that she is independent, and not just independent. Independent. This word also has been abused. I feel independent in thought. Independent in her demeanor, in her personality. It is not just. It's not always necessary that you have to literally go out to earn your bread and butter to be independent. The independence has to be in the mind also. So if a man is brought up by a woman who is independent, okay, in her mindset, then definitely he is going to respect a woman in his workplace or in his school, college, whatever, who has an independent mind, who he can he can relate to that, and he'll be more comfortable. He'll be able to take it easily. Otherwise, till now, let me tell you, even now we have this problem that a woman boss is she runs the school or the college like she runs her house type. It's not her house, so it is like women are associated only with running the house. Okay, so if a son is brought up by an independent mother who has instilled these independent values in him, and he goes to respect a woman for her independence. And here, independence is a loaded term. I'm using it from all aspects, from every aspect. Yes.
Yes. Chioma, can you add something up from the African nations? How do you want to introduce your things? Yeah. Please unmute yourself. Chioma, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, yes, I have. Um, with regards to empowering women and our African society, I think one of the key indices that we should focus on is getting women to talk more and listen more. Okay, there's this saying that leaders, the aim of a leader is to grow more leaders and not more. Okay, because there is this notion I have about the younger generation is like they are already giving up, they are already feeling defeated. You know, around in my area in Nigeria, we have a lot of young girls, young women who don't have any other dreams except to just be pretty and to serve as decorations. Okay, so we have them in the majority. Is making it look like every Nigerian woman just wants to be an accessory to an accessory of a sort, but that is not true. I feel that there is need for women groups, there is need for women groups and a few women who have been liberated in mind and in practice to organize and make these younger women listen more. They need to listen more and hear some of our stories, okay? Because some of us came from backgrounds where we had to overcome a lot of challenges to be able to speak as loud as we speak. So it doesn't come by chance. So empowering women will come by talking more. We have to talk more. Those of us that are already talking, we have to talk more and we have to make the younger generation to listen more. Because if they listen, then the mind begins to get refreshed. There is a paradigm shift, there is a shift in mindset from just your role as a woman is just to grow, get pretty, get married, be an ornament, and then give birth to children, and then that is it. That is it. Can this mindset can only change from constant talking and constant hearing. So we have a lot of work to do. We have to keep talking and we have to keep talking and we have to keep talking until our voices are heard. Because if we don't raise a new generation of women who are liberated in mind and in practice, we might be facing extinction as a gender. So there is a lot of work that should be done if we want to achieve a new generation of young women leaders. That's my own take.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, okay. Okay, thank you. I directly want to ask questions to Shakila and Arundhati. Do you want to add something about women empowerment as per your country and culture, both of you from South Asia? If you can extend it some point in South about the South Asia, as well as we want to know more about the COVID-19 situations and what happening inside the country in Bangladesh and India.
Okay. Okay. Ma'am, you can speak, then I'll speak after you.
Shakila, you have to unmute yourself. Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me
Yeah.
now? Okay, I was listening to all the points the respected ladies were sharing from their experiences. I would like to add some specific points, which is, I think, being a part of being a representative of such developing countries like Bangladesh, I would like to focus on early childhood marriage. Okay, so I think still it's a problem in such a developing countries like Bangladesh. As being a part of such countries representative, I think this should be not only decreased, it should be completely significantly, it should be stopped. The girls should give all the opportunities to make their own selves educated and graduated first. And I would like to focus few another things at workplaces violence. There is lots of sexual violence, which is another taboo words, uh, which is not that much spoken to any platform, to any podium. So I would like to add that thing that there are lots of sexual harassment, or any kind of mental or physical harassment in workplace. We have heard about we need to be empowered from home, from society, from the not only from the system, but also from our own core values, from our own thoughts, from our own the way we feel, the way we think. We should also change ourselves by thinking that yes, we are actually by born are empowered. At the same time, I think the safety and security of workplace, where women needed to be, women are more encouraged to lead themselves in some top positions, where there are lots of harassment issues. So I think this is also another thing where we need to face lots of challenges, barriers, and obstacles. And another thing, the recent issues I would like to focus as a representative of Bangladesh, that there is recently a change of enforcement, which is about the rape issues, which was the talk of the town of Bangladesh. Not only in Bangladesh, UN also showed their concern about such issues, the rape issues. And recently, during the COVID period, we have seen that it's almost about 1,000 women have been domestically violated, and they are not only there were not only domestic violence, there were also the rape issues. So the capital punishment has been raised to the the maximum punishment, the highest punishment has been raised to the capital punishment, which is I think people will ask me that do you really agree that the rapist uh, should be hanged till death? Then I would say that I think justice is needed, right? Justice is needed for all the women who have been suffered from such incidents like rape. So justice is needed for those women. I would not call them as a victim word. I would not use this word for women. I would say it's not they are not victims actually. I think it's a bad experience they have been passed through. They are also empowered by their own selves. They are more empowered than the other women, those who have not experienced such cruel situation. So I would definitely hats off to all those women who have been passed through such cruel, brutal experience. I'm really sympathized for all those women, not only from Bangladesh but also all over the country. It's not an issue of Bangladesh; it's a worldwide issue. The rape issues for women. So I would give I think it's a great thing to share to all the global lovely ladies at this global podium, that the highest and the maximum the maximum punishment has been raised to the capital punishment. Hanging the rapist till death. This is the recent law has been changed just yesterday. The honorable the ministries and the government of Bangladesh has been changed this law recently. So that's the thing I would say, and that's it. I would like to add a few more things. I think we all need to work together. All the women all over the world, we need to raise our voice, speak about our rights, and we also need to think ourselves as an empowered human being, as an empowered women, and also we need to raise our own values first. Then we need to change our environment, the home, the society, the workplace, all over the country, I would say. And then gradually it will, the values actually, they will change the world thoughts. So
Mhm.
that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Arundhati, Professor Arundhati, actually, what you want to add with uh, from the India and Indian content, and especially if you want to add something based on the global community, because we have different countries people, those who are joining. Actually, there is a huge response from audience. They have different views and different questions. I will go to their question, go through their questions, please. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I think since we are talking about women empowerment, the first and the foremost thing is long back when I was in college, we were asked that how can you empower women? And the entire class responded with this one question: educate them and she's empowered. But the response that I got from my professor, that was very different. She told us that no, I don't think education is enough, because there are so many women across the globe who are educated, but they are not empowered. So the question is that how do you empower women? So the answer to her question was that you have to give them power, the power to take decisions for themselves. Like Sarita ma'am was saying that, we are still the other. Are the subalterns speaking? No, the subalterns are not speaking because they are not getting a chance to speak. And when we are actually speaking, like, we have the term feminist. Now this term has been tainted so badly with ignorance across the globe that anybody who just hears this word, they consider you to be some sort of a feminazi. They think that we want men, we want to bring down men, and then we want to climb onto some pedestal, which is not true. All we are seeking is opportunities, equal opportunities. We are not looking for some power, we are not looking for some status. All we want is that some equality. So of course women are not getting that kind of a platform, and ignorance of so many people who are misusing this opportunity to speak out. And sometimes, uh, false cases and all these things you have already seen, false Me Too cases also, we have already seen all these kinds of things. So these are the things which is, there's one entire generation which is taking everything forward, and there are a bunch of other people who are just pulling it back. So these are few things that is not good. Now talking about India, recently something happened in India.
Mhm.
A woman was raped. Okay, and her body was burnt. Her body was burnt before there could be proper forensic report about it, and it was burnt by the police officers, and the family was not given access to it. Now I cannot exactly tell you what has happened, because the media is completely divided. The media, there's left wing, there is right wing, it is completely divided, and they have their own narratives which is based on the government, which supports the government. There's this one media which says that no, it is not the mistake of the government, probably the girl wasn't even raped. And there's this another set which says that yes, the girl was raped, and these police have the police has bullied the family, and all these kinds. It has completely been politicized. Now the biggest concern out here is that in this whole debate, wherein you have taken a rape case to a political level, what about gender? What about women? What
Mhm.
about the violence? Nobody is talking about violence. Everything
Mhm.
has become politics. So you have completely diverted the story from a woman's issue. It completely comes down to politics. So women is ignored again. So even the question of violence, how the government, how the media, everyone, they are just eating us up, eating us up like vultures, grabbing opportunities out of our misery. That
Mhm.
is the worst thing that can ever happen. And even worse is that we can't speak, because the moment you speak something, you get a bunch of people targeting you in the name of politics. That okay,
Mhm.
you are Sanghi, okay, you are a right leaning person, you support the government, you are against the government. So many things happen. If you are not with Narendra Modi's government, then probably they will think that you are not in the favor of the well-being of the nation. All these kinds of narratives are there. So in this whole process, women are ignored. So I think that is one concern that India needs to address.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, I understand that. Yeah, there are actually, I think, audience actually already support you. Chandra, I think he's from Nepal. from university. He said yes, decision making and the access to resources is very important. More important is the dignity of being a human. So what do you want to add, Brenda? Can you hear me? Yes, can you add your point from South Africa? Yes, regarding the women dignities and the women empowerments and this issue. Can you hear me? Okay, Orpita, can you hear me? Okay, Brenda, I cannot hear you. I think yes. In that situation, I directly want to go to Dr. Sharita Sharma. So how do you want to add these things? Especially there is a question from audience, Mohammad Shohel Rana. He asked you, I think it's very important to change the social attitudes towards the women empowerment. What's your opinions? So how we can change social attitudes? I think already Arundhati add some things. And in terms of social attitudes, I want to listen from every countries because there are different country representative join with us.
Yes, regarding social attitudes, I think Dr. Shobha Sharma has already spoken about how religion, tradition, culture, all these things pull us back. All the time the onus is on the women in order to save the tradition, in order to save the family's name. So it's always the women who has to bear the brunt of this. So that's the reason why we have so many honor killings. That's the reason why we do not send our girls to schools or colleges. That's the reason why men are loath to send their wives to work. That's the reason why we would not want to see our daughters out there in the streets after a certain period at night. So all these issues are social attitudes that we have adapted right from the time of our birth. Now I think a time has come for us where of course we need to empower women, but at the same time we need to teach our sons how to behave in the
Mhm,
social
mhm,
environment. It's
mhm,
high time, and especially I would like to call upon parents or relatives or siblings of male children from here, to teach their sons the dignity of being a woman. They should not just take it for granted. And as it has already been said in the discussion, it starts at home. When the mother does not tolerate any kind of nonsense from her husband or from her son, because so many women I think in the entire South Asian context, this would be true, especially in India. Mothers are terrified of their sons. The moment a son is born and he's 8 to 10 years old, he starts dictating the mother what to do, what not to do, what to wear, how to go, how to speak, and all that. So I think a lot of onus is there on the parents. So when a male child is born, the father along with the mother should teach him the dignity of a woman. He should tell the child how to behave when he goes out of the house. It's high time we start telling them this, because if we cannot do this, we cannot just empower one 50% of the community. Women are 50% of the community. We just cannot empower them without telling the other 50% how to behave. So I think if the men start behaving, then so many things will be easier. Of course, they also are victims of conditioning. They also are victims of social attitudes. This culture, this tradition that is binding. These are bindings for them also. They also need to come up with that binding. I think we need to have a freer atmosphere of interactions right from schools. We should have a freer atmosphere where boys and girls interact in a free atmosphere where everyone is given the dignity and boys are taught to respect women. I think yes, that is how we can change the social
thank
attitudes.
you. Thank you, Dr. Sharita. This is really, really important. Actually, audience also come up with some of the response, and the response is something like that. uh, uh, Let not the slogan of empowerment of women remain mere slogan, but the whole pattern of mindset be changed right from each and every household and every member of the society. I think this is very important for today's discussion. Chioma, what do you want to
let
add
me
with? Yes. Dr. Shari Shobha.
one
Yes.
thing I want to add.
Mhm.
Yes, the person who wrote this is our father.
Oh, excellent.
Our father is, yes, he is the one who made
Mhm.
us this strong. He is the one, because of him, my mother was empowered. Because my mother was empowered, we are all very
Mhm.
empowered daughters. Yes, that
Excellent.
was my
Excellent.
mother who wrote
Yes.
that.
You
Yes,
just
please
took
continue.
my words away, because the moment you read that slogan, I was about to tell you that that is one person who has empowered us.
Okay.
All
Excellent.
four of us,
Excellent.
the four sisters
Yes.
in the family. Yes, thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes, definitely. From World Talent Economy Forum, send our regards and thanks, because actually this should be, the father should be like that. Father should support their children in that way. That's why you both of you are highly educated, and we have full respect for your work and everything. Chioma, what you want to add today? Yes.
Okay. Dr. Sarita actually took a lot of what I wanted to say out of my mouth. Yeah, because it's one thing to empower women, it's another thing to get a society to accept an empowered woman, an empowered woman. Because over here in Africa, when a woman knows her worth, when a woman knows her doing her work well, you begin to get a lot of tags. Okay, you get a lot of nicknames, and then a lot of backlash will come to you. This is because the society has been conditioned to see a female child or a woman as someone that should take backstage. We are not very used to seeing a woman in the lead. So this can be changed when we are all women. So a lot of us we are all mothers, okay? So many of us have children. So we've been talking about these issues for as long as I can remember. It's time for action. This is an action time for every mother to first of all shelve gender role stereotyping. Mothers need to start, parents need to start shelving gender role stereotyping, because when you have children that you have profiled the roles that they play at home, the boys have to play the decision making roles or the leadership roles, while the girls have to play the supporting role from the home. The women are already feeling very, very defeated from the home front. And then when they now go into the society, the men have become, there is this mindset that a woman is just a supporting, she has to play a supporting role. So mothers, fathers need to start shelving gender role stereotyping from children, because these children are going to be the generations of tomorrow. Let us assume that so many of us have grown too old to change, even though we are hopeful that we will change. Let's assume that our generation, they've grown too old to change, but we can make the difference in the upcoming generation. We can change, we can rewrite the history, we can rewrite the history, and we can rewrite the narrative in the generation to come. So this is a call to action to all mothers, to all fathers, to start changing the mindset of children from childhood. Shelve gender role stereotyping. I am an advocate of, can we do away with gender role stereotyping? It is doing us so much harm than good. That is why you see, with all her education, even with all the empowerment, she still wants to hide, because she wants to be accepted by the society, because of our religion, because of our culture, and all that. The culture and the religion will change when the individuals who drive this culture and religion change, and the change will come when we flush out the negative vibes that is inherent in our mindset now, and replace it with positive vibe. And then, as a way of concluding what I am about to say, I want to say a very big thank you to Dr. Sarita and Dr. Shoba's dad. He's really an amazing man, as in, for him to even come on the show to show solidarity. men should learn from him. Every man should be like him. So I think that's my own contribution from this part.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Dr. Shobha Sharma, what you want to add? What you want to teach us from your fathers? Like how we should behave as a man for our wife, for our sisters, for our society. Yes, Dr. Shobha, can you please unmute
Yeah,
yourself? Yeah.
yeah. My father is 79 years old. So
Mhm,
during that time, when my father and mother, when my father married my mother, yeah, it was not the time of women empowerment. I don't think so,
mhm,
isn't it?
mhm,
So that
mhm,
was the time when women were confined to the household. Yeah. So here, let me add like gender roles, like Chioma just now said, and Sarita also said. So gender has also become a kind of a performance, isn't it? Like we do all the
mhm,
rituals, like Judith Butler has said. Okay, that it is something that is inscribed in our daily practices. So in those days, it was more so. So the women were supposed to work, look after the house. The men will go out of the house and earn and come back. But in our family, what happened was my father, my mother, my mother completed her graduation. My father made her complete. Okay, and after that, she went out of the house to work. And we were raised up in a house where both the parents went out to work, and as they came back, both were like equally involved in all the household chores. Okay, and as we grew up like that, now my brother also, you can see him in the house, like he is as much as domesticated, the term domesticated, as any one of us. So that kind of upbringing we had in our house, and it was those days, 40, 50 years before. Okay, I'm 50, so like, yes, 50 years before. And my father had that the audacity, you can say, to have four daughters, yet not even once he felt that, well, I have four daughters. In those days, having one daughter was considered a burden. He had four daughters, and he made us all equally. We have done our masters, we are all very well placed in our respective professions. Yeah, my brother is doing very well. So all five of us, rather, we were brought up similarly. We never felt that, well, he is our son, so he is given more privileges. Nothing of that sort. So that gender performance was never performed in our house. Okay, and hence we were brought up in that kind of a environment, and it seeped in within us. And well, we were, in a way, that is those values we brought to our respective other extended family when we got married and came. And that way, I think, things will change if we are going to instill these kind of things, and this gender as performance. Yeah, I think I have said this before also in your show, I think. Yes, that now is the time. We are talking, we have been discussing, we have been debating, but now is the time, that we empower the men along with empowering the women. We empower the women to be strong outside the house, outside the four walls of those domesticity, the protection, the shield of domesticity. And we empower the men to be, independent inside the house. Let them not be dependent. Let the men not be dependent on the woman for household stuff. Let the women not be dependent outside the house. So then only this equality. It's not just like empowering the women, women, unless and until the men also are empowered. I call them very, very dependent. I
mhm,
find men very dependent. Yes.
mhm,
Well,
mhm.
that is my take on this. Anybody can follow up.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Shakila, what do you want to add? And especially, can you can you give us some guideline that how we should develop the policy for women empowerments, and especially education is very important for women empowerments. How we should focus on that area, and how actually policymaker emphasize on that particular point.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the question. But I would like to serve you another thing, which is, well, do we really think ourselves as empowered? I mean, before thinking the other men will would think us as an empowered people, but do we really think ourselves as empowered people. I mean, we need to ask ourselves first. We need to think ourselves as empowered as the other men and guys think themselves. So I think our attitude, the other respected participants were already mentioned all the points, but I would like to say that we need to also respect ourselves, our own selves first. Women need to respect the other women. Women need to support the other women, and also then there will be a women workforce. There will be a women empowerment. The field will be more powered. The field will be more empowered and enlightened, and then the men would be bound actually to actually respect their dignity. They would be bound, and not only from home actually, from the society, the attitude of the society towards the women. It should actually need to be changed. The time has actually come. The way the other respected participants were saying that the time actually has come. Right now what we are doing, all the people, we are actually working from home. Most of the people all around the world, we are actually working from home, right? Whether it's any workplaces or whether it's any academic issues, we both are working from home. Both men and women. What we are seeing that working hand in hand with the men
I think she has internet problems. So in that situation, Dr. Sharita Sharma, can you discuss some point on how we can create better policy on education as well as women empowerment?
Yes, I think Shakila was, talking about a very relevant thing out there that, women need to respect each other, that we need to pull each other up. So I think that is one thing which I have also always believed, and I have always said that an empowered woman will empower other women. So I think it's important to bring that as well. And when it comes to policy making, see, laws will be in one side, frameworks will be in one side, but what happens in practice is in our hands. I think when I say our, it is in the hands of the society. Only one person cannot make a difference. If I say today that, okay, fine, I'm an empowered woman and I'm going to do this and do that, I cannot do that. Your opinion of me also helps me in getting more empowered. A person can, with a gesture, a word, or a false or just a sentence, damage your empowerment forever. So yes, we are treading on very delicate grounds here. Women are just coming out of the homes. We are just learning to see the world, and we are sometimes very doubtful of the other women because, as I had already said in one of the shows, that we have always been pitted against each other. Women have always seen the other woman as a threat, as someone, I have to be more beautiful than her in order to be attractive to him. I have to be more desirable than her so that he picks me up from the lot. So we have always been, pitted against each other. So that feeling of jealousy, the feeling of not being enough, has always been there in her. Why is this beauty industry thriving like this? It is thriving on our insecurities. And that, where has that insecurity come from? It has come from years of social conditioning that you have to look pretty, you cannot look your age. Okay, you have become 40 plus, start using those miracle potions and creams. So, that is where it is. So, policy will be one thing, rules will be one thing, but we have to change the mindset. And mindset will not be changed in a day. It will not be changed by one person. We have to take one step at a time. We have to learn, as Chioma was saying, we have to talk. We have to talk about our problems. We have to make ourselves heard. And we have also to hear the other women. We have to pull them up. If I am empowered, I should see to it that I at least make 10 other women empowered in any way that I can. So I think that is how it is. Let us take one step at a time. Let us pull one woman at a time, and let us change one mindset at a time.
Excellent. Dr. Shobha Sharma, what do you want to add about education policy and women empowerment policy? How do we, yes.
Yeah, I think we need more and more women to frame these policies. As I said, as Gayatri Spivak Chaudhary, I spoke about her, that she has said that can the subaltern speak? Unless and until we have people who is going to speak for us, frame the laws for us, our people, means women, making laws for women, then only maybe. So that's why we need more leaders, more policymakers, okay, people who will really represent us, not sympathize or empathize upon us and then decide the course of action for us, or decide that, well, this is right for a woman, okay. It is not correct to have policemen all around the road, for the protection of the women. Instead, the mindset, as Sarita and Chioma have been saying, the mindset, unless and until we have women speaking for women, unless and until policies are made by women for women, well, things will not change, and it's going to take a lot more time. We have miles to go.
Mhm. Excellent. Chioma, do you want to add something about this policy and this point? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What I want to add is that, first of all, we need to, there is need to add more women at the policy making level in
Mhm.
different countries and in different bodies. Okay, there's a very pertinent need to add more women. It's not enough to have a board or of 10 people and you have just one woman. In Nigeria, the women are clamoring for two-third representation at policy making levels where these policies are being made. Because when if you look at most of the laws, they are made by men, and even the laws that are made to protect women are made by men to favor men in protection of women. That is how I look at it. Because when you analyze most of these laws critically, you find out that if it were to be a woman, a group of women having to be at the helm of making these laws, some of these laws wouldn't be the way they are. Okay, so we need to get more women up there at the policy making level, and then I also want to encourage more women to take up studies in policy making in your different fields, in your different endeavors. Take up studies in, be prepared, be ready for the work, because when we say we want to have two-third majority, when the call is made and we don't have anybody with the required credentials, it becomes a huge problem. So women should go study. I'm in the IT, I'm in sustainability, and I'm hoping once I conclude my PhD by the grace of God, I want to do courses in policy, so that when I am to be at that point, I can make quality policies that will not endanger my gender, okay, and everybody at large. That is one point I want to make. Then the second point with women and policy is that empowerment comes in, it comes in stage levels, classes. For every class of women, for every class of woman, there is a level of empowerment that she needs to get to move to the next class. So when we are making these policies, we are all these beautiful programs by the NGOs, class, consider religion, we should consider creed when we are making this empowerment program, so that everybody at their level is empowered. Because I spoke to a group of women back in my country, and I told them that one of the beauty of women is our diversity. Okay, you can come into a room, you have a woman who is a professor, you have a woman who just buys on the roadside. You have, but both women are empowered in their own level, and they also deliver at their own level. So should also be stratified, so that you don't push a program that is too big for me, and then I program, and I'm like fish that's been put of water. So first of all, the points I made, first of all, get more women up there at the policy making level. And then secondly, let there be evidence in rolling out empowerment program so that it gets to the woman at the level that it benefits her the most. That's my point with women education, empowerment, and all that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Chioma, can you please mute your mic, please? Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. There are some noise that I think we cannot hear clearly. Sorry about that. Shakila, what do you want to add about policy making? And especially there is a point from, anyway, I want to take this point. Chandra, he come up with a very good point. Economic independence is the primary strength for every woman. And yes, an environment for economic independence is to be created. So I think this is very important point for policy making and these kind of things, especially women empowerment. What do you want to add, Dr. Sharita Sharma and Dr. Shobha Sharma?
Yes. So, however much we talk about women empowerment, if we do not bring women out there, everything is going to fail. So I want to see more women out there in the work field. I want to see more doctors. I want to see more women in the defense sector. More women police out there. We have more women in the tech sector. Everywhere. Let's bring them. We can make a difference. We can make a difference only if we let women come out of their homes, only if we encourage them enough to take it upon themselves. So we need more leaders, we need more policymakers, we need more entrepreneurs, we need women out there. Let us take them out of the homes, let us encourage them, and when they are out there in the field, when they start working, then that is the time when actual change will take place. Sitting inside here and talking will, okay, fine, it will make us feel happy that, okay, fine, maybe we are doing something about it. But to be honest enough, we have to bring them out of their homes, place them there in that place where they can affect change.
Mhm. Thank you, thank you. Shakila, what do you want to add about economic independence for
Yeah, yeah,
women
yeah.
and
I'm
especially
really
policy making? Yes.
I'm sorry for the interruption, for the, the technical issues. Really sorry for that. Well, I would like to focus on the policy making of women empowerment or women leadership. I think it should be come from from the policymakers first, and then it should be applied to the all all over the nation, like the workplaces where all the women are working, not only in technological areas like IT field or non-technical, non-IT field, and any kind of financial institutes, the media. There are lots of fields where women are working. They are working, whether it's day, whether it's night. They do 24/7 jobs. They do roster duties. So they are just giving. They are just contributing like men, but they are not actually well recognized. They are negligible. Their contributions are negligible in that way, in terms of remuneration, in terms of salaries, in terms of everything. So I think the policy uh, should be implied in such a way from the policymakers that women should be counted equally. I always say that balance for better. We need to work hand to hand. We need to work together to contribute to the economy of any country, to the world. So we need to work hand to hand like men. Women need to be more respected, need to be more honored from not only men but also from women. What I already mentioned before, that we also need to respect ourselves first. We need to support the other women. We need all the men, all the guys with us to support ourselves, to work together. We need the policymakers to have that focus on women empowerment, on women leadership, not only from workplaces, from home, from urban to rural areas. What about uh, the rural areas? What I already mentioned about the domestic violence, the early childhood marriage. the workplace sexual harassment, the rape cases, the already I have mentioned. So I would like to focus more on the policymakers that they need to be more sympathized or need to more focused on women-centric issues, because we all are working in different areas, not only in technological areas but also in in defense. If you talk about air force, if you talk about army, there are also women. They're also contributing, not only from from. And even if you talk about the women who are housewives, they're also contributing, right? They're also keep, I mean, the way already the respected Dr. Shobha, the participant, she was saying about her father. So the homemakers, all the housewives, all the women, those who are actually working from home, they are also need to be encouraged all over the world, wherever women are, whatever we are doing, respect is needed. And if you look at the society, there are lots of social workers, there are lots of women social workers. They're also contributing, they're also raising their voices. If we see just recent issues, the rape cases, that it's almost during the pandemic period, the COVID-19 period, it's almost 1,000 women were raped, from rural to urban. The issues were so pathetic. So, the voices has been raised in such a way that the government of Bangladesh, changed their mind and pushed the law departments or law bodies, law people to change their laws to make the highest punishments to the rapists to the highest capital punishment, which is a very good thing. Well, I'm particularly, I don't agree with the punishment of hanging any people. It's all about, it's a matter of law people. It's a matter of law concern or law enforcement bodies. But I would say that justice is needed. For such kind of um, situation, for such kind of cruel, brutal attitude towards women, justice is needed. And all women need to raise their voices from home, from workplaces, from society, from social workers, from media, from the women who are working in media, those who are working in air force or in defense areas, defense, or the policymakers. I mean, those who are working, as a speaker. Our national speaker is a woman. Our prime minister is a woman. So the policymakers, our education minister is a woman. So all the policymakers, I would like to focus all those women. We need to actually, focus more and more. We need to work together. And I would like to say about the men. Well, I want more men to raise voice about women also. We are women, we are talking, that is very good thing. I think we are all our point is kind of more or less same, right? We all are talking about women empowerment. I think men also, we want men's voice as well. Whenever they would say that yes, women need to be encouraged, women are more needed to be empowered, then I think that the thing will be changed. I think the policymaker will be forced. We will force them to change their policies to empower more women, to change their policies. I mean, already it's a significant within the whole history. The law has been changed within this pandemic period. I would say it's a great achievement for all the women, because they have raised their voice. They struggled. They forced the policymakers to change their laws, and they have changed, which is the recent Bangladeshi governments. I think I would say it's a hats off to all those women who has already. I'm also being a part of that. So I would say that it's a great achievement for us. So not only for Bangladesh as all the developing countries, and not only for all the developing countries, the developed countries as well needed to be raise their voices. So at the end, I would like to focus that yes, we need to work together. All men and women. Whenever we will work together, balance for better, we will work hand to hand. Then hopefully, the real empowerment towards the economy will be added values. So that's it.
Thank you. Dr. Shobha Sharma, what do you want to add about the policy making? Then we go for directly closing remarks for today's session. Yes.
Yeah, regarding this, I think we have already spoken that we need more women to make policies, to make laws. More women leaders we need. And regarding you were asking about the economic policies, yeah, economic independence, how it is important. It is not, economic independence means, I think that is the only way that a woman will get a voice. She'll find her voice if she is economically independent, because she will have that, it will boost her morale. Okay, she'll be more confident to come out and speak for herself, and she'll be heard. Most importantly, how much you talk and talk and talk, if you are not going to be heard, it's not going to make any sense. So when you are economically independent, then you are heard. When you talk, even in the family or in the society, you have a status as such. And then, to be economically independent, you need to have academically sound, some kind of qualification also. So it all boils down to the fact that we need to educate women. All right, because without education, just economic independence also doesn't make much of a sense in case of women empowerment. So education, it begins with education, and then it goes on to becoming independent financially. All right. And we become more responsible, I feel. We women have to be very, very responsible of what we are doing and what we are saying. It has come to such that, this the whole society, unless and until we are responsible for what we do, how we behave, in a way, we cannot tell others to be responsible also. So sometimes we need to take things in our stride and be more responsible, take it in a strong manner, and for that you need to have a voice. And who will hear just a person talking, unless and until you have some status in the society, some, maybe some confidence. And that confidence is definitely going to come with economic independence and with education. So in the grassroots level, let's now concentrate towards the rural areas. I think there is there we need to concentrate more and bring out the women there, because interestingly, sometimes we find that women need not always be there in the urban areas to be heard also. Sometimes we find even in the rural areas there are strong women, okay, who
Right.
want to be heard. Yeah, they are just looking for a platform. They don't get the platform to address their grievances. All right, so we need to give them that platform. So it's most important that a platform is given to women to voice themselves. And like, education is more important. And yes, financial independence is very, very important. And we need to, we women, already, I can say to some extent, well, we empowered women, we need to think of ourselves as a role model for the society. We should always take it in, it as our responsibility, as the Dr. Sarita was saying just now, that if I am empowered, I should take it in me, that it is my responsibility to empower at least 10 more, if not 10, 5, 2, 1, whatever. So if every women, empowered women, take it or think in this manner, then definitely we are going to have a very, very balanced society in the near future.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Actually, there are actually huge response from audience. I know when I start this session, before I start these sessions, I have some sort of experience and prediction, because how powerful speakers today joins from everywhere. Even few of our, I really really miss few of the speaker today, because of I think internet connection, and for this COVID situation, everything we have to go for this remote basis, and we are focusing in that way. Actually, World Talent Economy Forums, we are trying to more focus on research and the different kind of consultancy. And most important thing is that Asia Research and Development Institutions, Al Noor Academy, Sarhadia Barhad, and World Talent Economy Forums, we are working together. So you are our asset. You are very capable. You have your own views, your research, and your contribution for your society, especially not only your own country, also in the global arena. I know how productive you are and how you're contributing. So we believe that those who joining today, they are actually ambassador for World Talent Economy Forums. If we want to grow, we need our partnerships. We need to collaborate with each others. And when we collaborate with each others from India, from Africa, from Bangladesh, from Malaysia, from Europe, from North America, then we can understand the real scenario. Then we can come up with the real outcome. And we are now living in the global arena. So global arena, we need to help each other. So this is our ultimately objectives, and I believe in that way. And our organization major objective, we want to serve for humans. Already around 122 countries, we are connecting through World Talent Economy Forums, and we are trying to figure out different problems. We are trying to figure out different leader like you. That is our objective. We want to bring more leaders, more talented people, those who can contribute for society and contribute for the global arena. This is the objective for World Talent Economy Forum. We want to empower each and everything. And always I want to focus on micro initiative, then step by step we can focus on the macro initiative, because next 5 to 10 years, economical strategy and everything will be changed. COVID actually come up with the different issues. Our policymakers, our government more focus on macro initiative, but this is the times now we have to focus on micro initiative. So each and every people, we have to empower them and we have to support them. This is our objective. So I directly want to go for concluding remarks. I think Shakila, then Dr. Shobha, then Chioma, then Dr. Sharita, if you give us the concluding remarks for today's sessions. Shakila.
Well, it is absolutely an honor and pleasure for me to share the experiences with such a global podium. I would definitely like to give thanks to the host, the respected and the most talented host, Sharif. I call him Sharif Bhai, and all the other respected participants. It's absolutely a pleasure to sharing, being a representative of Bangladesh. As a concluding remark, I would definitely like to say, the balance for better. The more we will be empowered, the more we will be enlightened, right? Uh, uh, Besides having the academical background and educational academical background, the different work experiences of different areas, we also need to believe that we need to work, hand to hand. What I always say, what I believe from my personal experiences, that unless we work together, it's not actually, it doesn't make sense. I mean, only women voice is not enough. Only women voice is not, in that level, if we don't have men with us to raise, to make our voices actually applicable, to change the policies from the policymakers. So yeah, I think this is the time. It's a world crisis period where we, all the people throughout the whole world, we are passing such a crisis. We need to focus. We need to work together. All the women over all over the world, and as well as I was talking about, the other men of the countries, all over the countries. And yes, from home to the society, to the workplaces of different fields and areas, whether it's media, whether it's technical fields, non-technical fields, financial institutes, or academicians, all the women need to be more focused. Whether it's academical backgrounds or educational backgrounds, or from different work experiences, they need to love themselves more. I need to love myself more. We all need to love ourselves first. Then only when we will focus ourselves more, then people will bound to see, yes, this lady or these women are really, I mean, they have really that guts. They are really bold. They are dignified and they are empowered and they are really leaders. Then they will also feel, okay, yes, they have that status, they have that background. So we need to actually listen to them, and not only from urban people, but also from rural women, those who are actually who are completely neglected. They don't have that status, they don't have that platforms, they don't have that academic or educational background, they don't have that work experiences, but they are looking for the platform. The way the other participants were saying, that I think all the women, whether educated, non-educated, the home, from the homemakers to the working ladies. I think all women need to work, need to raise their voice. If the women, I mean, the women, those don't have any status, even if they don't have any status, they don't have any, the backgrounds. I think they are also needed to be encouraged to raise their voice. Probably they also have some issues, right? They can be more victims, so their voices also needed to be listened, needed to be heard more. And yes, that's it. I think again, it's a great pleasure to share such a platform with all the global leaders, all the lovely women, global leaders and empowered women. Thank you so very much for giving me
Thank
the
you.
opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Shakila. Yes, Dr. Shobha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Mr. Sharif, for having me here again. And yes, we need more men like you to make this world a more equal place. You have been doing so much, yes, in this field, and yes,
Thank you.
respects. And well, regarding my closing remark, as I say, well, we need to empower women socially. Educational empowerment is important, economic empowerment, political empowerment. We need more leaders, we need more people to make policymakers, more women policymakers, maybe so that they will give a bit better platform for the women to voice their voices. And yes, psychological empowerment, it has to be there in the mindset. And of course, we need men to walk along, side by side with us, shoulder to shoulder. We are not that men bashing kind of feminists that they talk about. We need the men also equally. Let there be equality in the society, in spite of any gender differences. It can be just a biological difference. Let it be just a biological difference, not a social or a cultural difference. Okay, and let all women get a platform to voice their grievances, as well as let there be women or men to listen and do something about it. It's not simply you making yourself heard, unless and until something is done about it. Okay, and let's have many more talks and discussions. Maybe it will reach to the concerned people, maybe they will also listen, and something good will come out of it. And thank you again so much for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you. Chioma, what do you want to add for concluding remarks?
Okay. This is me saying thank you, Arif, for inviting me once again on his platform, and for having me have a beautiful conversation with all these amazing women. Mark, I will reiterate the need for women to increase capacity, learn more, be more aware about changing policy landscapes and all that, so that we can assume into, because I was listening to all the dishing out from her country, Bangladesh, and I was wondering the secret behind all this magic. But when I said their prime minister is a woman, this is, and I said, oh, that's where the magic is coming from. So we need to encourage more women to study, to acquire the skills that will place them at policy making levels, and then we also need to encourage women and men who have children to raise their children differently, shift or a change in mindset, and we should also shelve gender role stereotyping. So these are my suggestions for this discussion. I will also say a huge thank you to everyone. Thank you for having me all the way from Nigeria. It's a pleasure. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Okay, Dr. Sharita, can you give us the concluding remarks? And I want to give special thanks those who joined today. And there is a huge response from audience. Those who joining, even send my regards to your father, because this is very, very important. I know that those who are successful, behind them, everyone. I think everyone has very great fathers. Send and great mothers. Send my regards to them. So, concluding remarks, Dr. Sharita Sharma.
Yes, it's always a pleasure to be on your show, Mr. Sharif. We end up talking a lot and also learning so much from each other. So it has been a learning experience for me, talking with all these wonderful women from all across the globe. So educate the girl child, encourage her to go for more education, to finish the degree, to take up a job, talk to the male child, make him listen, make him understand, things from the women's point of view also. Let us work together, as Shakila says. Let's work together hand in hand, both men and women, as Dr. Shobha says. And let us create more opportunities, as Chioma says. So all our collective voices may be heard, may be reached to the policymakers around the globe, as you say, because we cannot work in isolation anymore. I cannot say that, okay, fine, this is my country and these are my rules. That doesn't happen anymore. So we are a global community reaching out to each other. So let us continue reaching. Let us raise the voices. Let us protest against the injustice, men and women alike. Let us voice our grievances, and let us hope for a day when there will be no equality, no inequality based on gender, race, caste, creed, whatever. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And it's really, really very great sessions. And hopefully, many of the people are gonna like it. And I want to give special thanks to the audience, those who come up with the very interesting questions and very interesting comments from different countries. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.